On Tuesday, Stephen Fulton will put his WBC and WBO junior featherweight titles on the line against pound-for-pound star Naoya Inoue at the Ariake Arena, Tokyo, Japan. In this video, 21 boxing experts were asked their opinions on the outcome of the fight. Fulton, with the undefeated record of 21 wins with 8 KOs, the ring's #1 rated junior featherweight, worked his way into title contention by beating former title holder Paulus Mbunda with a 12-round unanimous decision, stopped previously unbeaten Mexican Isaac Avelar by a KO at 6th round, and used his skills to tame another unbeaten opponent in Arnold Kagai with a 12-round unanimous decision. The recently turned 29-year-old showcased his smooth boxing skills to beat Angelo Leo with a 12-round unanimous decision to claim the WBO title, and he showed grit by digging in deep when he added the WBC title by edging Brandon Figueroa with a 12-round majority decision in a hard-fought unification bout. Most recently, he sparkled against Daniel Roman with a 12-round unanimous decision. Inoue, with the undefeated record of 24 wins with 21 KOs, boasts an impressive knockout rate of 87.5% as opposed to 38% of Fulton. Number 2 in the ring's pound-for-pound rankings, devoured all before him en route to claiming world titles at 108, 115 and 118 pounds. The big punching Japanese monster has lived up to his moniker, demolishing the likes of Omar Narvaez with a KO in round 2, Jamie McDonnell with a TKO in round 1, Juan Carlos Payano with a KO in round 1 and Emmanuel Rodriguez with a KO in round 2. However, it's his 2 triumphs over 4-weight world champion Nonito Donaire that provided Inoue with considerable acclaim. He edged Donaire with a 12-round unanimous decision in an instant classic that was later named Fight of the Year and stopped him in the second round of their rematch. The 30-year-old became the undisputed bantamweight champion when he dominated Paul Butler, stopping the Brit in 11 one-sided rounds. With nothing left to conquer at 118, Inoue decided to move up in weight in a bid to collect more hardware and accolades. So far, Inoue's power has decimated his opponents. Will it carry up to 122 pounds? Will Fulton show any signs of ring rust, having not fought for 13 months? Inoue has never faced an elite African American who can box and move quite like Fulton. How will he find that? The American is fighting outside his home country for the first time. Will that play a part? Online gambling group William Hill lists Inoue as a -350 favorite, while Fulton is priced at +275. The draw is 14-1 plus 1,400. Here's how the experts see the outcome. Let's look at the predictions of the 7 The Ring magazine writers first. Doug Fisher, Inoue to win by TKO. This matchup is as good as boxing gets. Inoue, who cracked the Ring rankings in his 4th pro bout as a junior flyweight almost 10 years ago, has the look of a generational talent. Fulton is the man at junior featherweight. Both are complete, athletic fighters who are used to challenging themselves, and that's why the fight is happening. Whoever can dictate the pace and distance will have the edge in this one, and we can expect an entertaining duel of speed, power jabs, counterpunches, and choice body shots. I think Fulton's size, experience and style will pose a lot of problems for Inoue, who is making his 122-pound debut. I can see a path to a decision victory if the Philly fighter can stick and move with authority without getting pulled into extended exchanges, but the more likely scenario is Inoue clipping Fulton at some point between the middle and late rounds. Fulton likes to go to the body with both hands, and he does so in a way that leaves his head exposed. He's got good upper body movement, but he also has a habit of leaving his hands down. I think Fulton will have his moments, but I expect Inoue to be at his motivated best, and my hunch is that he'll hurt Fulton to the body and finish the American standout with head shots sometime after the 8th round. Anson Wainwright, Inoue to win by unanimous decision. Both fighters should be lauded for taking such a risky fight. Inoue could easily have taken a lesser opponent and settled into the new division, while Fulton went out of his way to secure this fight. The Philadelphia native had been linked with a return fight with Brandon Figueroa up at featherweight, but ultimately decided he wanted to face Inoue and was happy to take his 2 titles to Japan to do so, which will be a big challenge. The fight is very intriguing. It will see both men face their biggest challenge to date. Fulton's toughest test came against Figueroa, an all-action punching machine, and the American was able to pass the exam. Inoue's most difficult night came when he got wobbled and battled through a fractured right eye socket to beat Donaire. Both those wins were each fighter's proving ground, but they'll be required to step up again to win this fight. It will mark the first time Inoue has fought an elite African American opponent, who will present him with problems with his quick hands and feet, certainly more than he will have faced so far in his career. However, it will also be a giant leap into the unknown for Fulton. While he was able to hold off Figueroa, Inoue is a much more polished fighter who has elite skills of his own and will sorely test Fulton. I feel fighting at home will be a big help for Inoue, who I think will have problems with Fulton's style but always just be a step ahead and win a hard-fought 12-round unanimous decision by 116 to 112. Lee Groves, Inoue to win by KO in round 11. Boxing certainly has its faults, but it's fights such as Inoue versus Fulton that illustrate what the sport can be if the right fights can be made often enough. This will feature a pleasing contrast of styles between two tough-as-nails competitors capable of producing high work rate, excellent accuracy and above-average defense. Although this will mark Inoue's debut at 122, he will be fighting at home against an opponent with a low KO percentage of 38% and who will need to box on the retreat in order to give himself the best chance to win, a tough way to impress the judges in general, but even tougher when fighting in a high-end challenger's home nation. Fulton will have his moments, but I believe Inoue's aggression, body punching and technique will eventually wear down the American and score the late round TKO. Diego Maria, Inoue to win by points. It is truly difficult to envision a once-in-a-generation talent like Inoue being less than 100% for this homecoming fight against a superb talent like Fulton. People read too much on that Donaire fight and how vulnerable Inoue looked at times, but that was more a merit of a legend like Donaire than a lack of preparation or focus by Inoue. I do expect a more difficult than usual challenge for the monster, but he will definitely prevail by a comfortable margin or a late stoppage. Marty Mulcahy, to win by points, a fantastic fight which, sadly, will be remembered more in historical importance than the current hype around it since it airs on a Tuesday in Japan. On paper Stephen Fulton holds advantages in age, size, natural weight class, and probably strength, which is not to be mistaken for power. There, it is Naoya Inoue who has the edge given his devastating fusion of balance, speed, technique, and punching power. Which package wins out comes down to poise in this pressure situation, and I trust the more tested Inoue on his home turf. The fight goes the distance, with Fulton battling back in the middle rounds, but ultimately unable to stop the more precise punching of Inoue in the championship rounds. I can even see a knockdown in favor of Inoue sealing a win that looks more comfortable on the scorecards than it was. No matter who wins, the loser will only be negatively impacted by the Twitter trolls who scream exposed for a short period, but fully praised in historical terms down the line. Norm Frauenheim, Inoue to win by unanimous decision. He's 5'5", a little guy, but his stature has never been bigger in both the global pound-for-pound debate and Japanese popularity polls. That ascent figures to continue against Stephen Fulton, who has traveled a long way to take on what can only be called a long-shot attempt at beating Inoue in front of adoring countrymen, who recently voted him as Japan's fourth most popular athlete in a poll conducted by the Sasakawa Sports Foundation. Inoue is not Otani, Japan's Babe Ruth. But he's in the ballpark. Fulton has the experience. He has 2 of the belts, too. He's proven at junior featherweight. In Japan, however, he looks to be only a stepping stone for Inoue, a 3-division champion who is making his 122-pound debut. The slick Fulton may be elusive enough to take it to the scorecards. But Inoue's dynamic mix of power and precision will be too much, especially in the late rounds. Ron Borges, Inoue to win by TKO. Stephen Fulton has boxed his way to claiming both the WBC and WBO super bantamweight titles and has a spotless 21-0 record, but none of that will help him on July 25 when he defends those titles against challenger Naoya Inoue in Tokyo. It speaks to Inoue's drawing power that the fight is in the challenger's country, not the US, and that power comes from what will be Fulton's biggest problem, Inoue's crushing punching power. Some have argued that Inoue is at some risk because he is moving up in weight for the 5th time after winning world titles from light flyweight to bantamweight over the past 3 years. This will be his first fight at 122 pounds, but there has been little indication that the rise in weight has sapped his punching power in any significant way. Fulton is a fine boxer who will give Inoue problems initially, but eventually the mind-numbing power of Inoue, power that has led him to 21 knockout victories in 24 fights, will take its toll, first wearing Fulton down and eventually knocking him down. Fighting halfway around the world from home will only enhance the difficulties Fulton will be forced to try and overcome. When it's all said and done, Inoue will stop Fulton somewhere in the latter third of the fight, if not sooner. Let's take a look at the opinions of some boxing insiders. Duke McKenzie, former 3-division title holder and TV analyst, Fulton to win by majority decision. This fight surely will meet all of the expectations of the fight game. All the talk and attention is commanded by Inoue given the fact this fight is in his backyard. With a hugely impressive record. The question has to be, can the monster be tamed? Fulton, the naturally bigger man at 122 pounds, for me, is favorite to win this unified battle. Inoue's power can only take him so far. His trademark body shots will be blocked, slipped or parried away. We're talking levels. Thus far, Inoue has dominated his opponents with reputation and backing up his boast. The problem is the slick punching classy Fulton looks to have the answer. He's not a big puncher but more of a very good all-rounder with a good chin and a very good engine. Inoue will be forced to fight at a very uncomfortable pace and will get outboxed. Fulton won't be intimidated by Inoue's reputation and wins by majority decision. Sergio Mora, former junior middleweight title holder and commentator. Inoue to win by KO. Great matchup that I just don't see going the distance. Fulton is an incredible boxer puncher, but Inoue is a pound-for-pound great. His power and speed are special. I see Fulton making a fight but not being able to fight off Inoue for 12 rounds. Inoue by KO. Sam Goodman, junior featherweight contender. Inoue wins. I think Fulton's best chance is to make Inoue feel his strength and use his size on him. I think it's a long night for Fulton. I think Inoue wins by knockout in the later rounds or by decision. Tom Gray, former managing editor for The Ring. Inoue to win by TKO in round 10. Despite the odds favoring Inoue, this should be a highly competitive fight. Fulton presents problems that Inoue has rarely if ever encountered. The American is a natural 122-pounder, he's known for his defensive prowess, and he's arguably the best pure boxer that Inoue will ever have shared a ring with. The champ has never been down as a professional and his tactical know-how should keep him out of danger in the early rounds. But 12 rounds is a long time. If Fulton is having success off the back foot, you can almost guarantee that Inoue will be wearing him down with suffocating pressure. Inoue is excellent at cutting off the ring, and his presence and positioning as an offensive fighter is sure to empty Fulton's tank over time. When a fighter gets tired, they lose their shape, their reflexes, and their durability. That spells doom. Inoue is a patient assassin and he's likely to break through with something devastating late on, which will invariably force the referee or Fulton's corner to call a halt to the action. Elijah Pierce, junior featherweight. Fulton wins by split decision. I think it's a great fight. Both of those fighters are excellent. Inoue definitely has the power in his favor but I feel like Fulton has the length and the boxing eye. Plus, I don't believe Inoue has ever been in the ring with an African American fighter before and that's a very pivotal piece of the puzzle. There's a difference in the style, the movement and just the work rate and ability itself. I feel not being familiar with that will go in Fulton's favor. I think it will be an entertaining fight. I would favor Fulton by split decision. Jolene Mizwan, manager. Inoue to win by unanimous decision. This is a great fight and keep going back and forth with my pick. I think Fulton is going to box Inoue's ears off, but I give the edge to Inoue for the simple fact that he is fighting in a comfortable setting, and he has a little edge on activity. This is Fulton's first fight on the road, so that is a lot of pressure, but if he can pull it off, I stand corrected and will give all the credit to Fulton. Joe Rotunda, matchmaker. Main events. Inoue to win by unanimous decision. Incredible fight, truly hope it gets the attention that it deserves. Both of these guys undefeated, barely in the prime of their careers, and have both taken out a number of top guys thus far to get to this point. I do believe that Fulton has his back against the wall here. He's fighting in Inoue's backyard, and he also has been inactive. In my opinion, he is going to have to fight the absolute perfect fight in order to get out of Japan with a win. He also doesn't possess much power at all, which will be a problem when trying to keep the monster off of you for 12 rounds. I have Inoue earning the unanimous decision in a very entertaining fight. Mark Ramsey, trainer. Inoue to win by unanimous decision. Even though Fulton is a natural junior featherweight and an excellent boxer, I don't think he has the power to neutralize the pressure of Inoue, but he will be skilled enough to avoid the knockout and be competitive at times. Alex Steedman, commentator. Inoue to win by points. The fight of fights. Fulton definitely has the ability to do this with his speed, timing, sharp punching and footwork. But the lack of relative punching power alongside a regard for the fight could be his undoing. Fulton might need to be perfect to win and Inoue isn't Wilder. His danger is ever present. Originally, I thought Fulton's speed and size might carry him to a decision win, but Inoue is a freak and part of history. He might have to toil for this though, perhaps by decision rather than knockout. Rudy Hernandez, trainer. Inoue to win. The monster is moving up again, looking to conquer another division. And he's going after one of the best in the division in Fulton. Fulton confidence in himself that he'll be fighting in Japan. Most champions want home advantage, but Fulton believes he is what it takes to win and return home as the champion of the world. I like the confidence, and as a true champion he's willing to go abroad. Unfortunately for Fulton, he's fighting probably the greatest Japanese fighter ever in Inoue. The fight will start with caution as both fighters will want to test the waters. Fulton, good movement and angles, with good hand speed. Only problem is that his punching power won't be enough to stop the monster from coming. Inoue's timing is one of his greatest assets, and I believe he'll bring his power the junior featherweight division. I see a competitive fight while it lasts. Both will get a few shots in, but the Inoue power will mark the difference, and I see Inoue catching Fulton and maybe even stopping him in the later rounds. I think Inoue will win either late stoppage or a unanimous decision in a fan-friendly fight. John Scully, trainer, Inoue to win by unanimous decision. I think Inoue is tested, but comes through very solidly. His power will keep him in control for the most part. Inoue by 12-round unanimous decision. Bob Santos, manager and trainer, Fulton to win by points. I like Fulton in this fight. I think he's going to be able to control the range. I think he's going to outbox Inoue in a way and perplex him. I like Fulton's ring generalship hand speed, and I just think overall he's a much craftier fighter. Robert Diaz, matchmaker, Inoue to win. A battle of the little giants, reminiscent of Jeff Chandler and Richie Sandoval. I believe this is going to be Inoue's toughest fight to date due to Fulton's skill. However, as all great that rise to the occasion, I truly believe Inoue is special and an all-time great who will rise to the occasion and unify the belts in the late rounds. TKO or unanimous decision. Raul Marquez, former world champion and commentator, Inoue to win by points. Fulton definitely has the skills, he's flashy but doesn't have pop. He needs to box, box and box. Inoue is all about power and pressure. This is a 50-50 fight. I lean more towards Inoue in close hometown decision. In conclusion, out of 21 experts, 18 chose Inoue to win, while only 3 predicted Fulton's victory. What are your thoughts? I hope you have enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon.